Hello. So I know I haven't made a video in a while and I apologize for that. I am uploading one now as we speak, and I just want to let you guys know that this is not going to be like my usual videos, and I'm going to be discussing the paranormal in it. So if you want to go make a sandwich or something or do something, it'd be great. I do apologize for not updating my BDSM videos, but I was running a fetish event on the weekend, so I just really hadn't had the time. But now I do, so hopefully we'll be able to rectify that. So yeah, as I said, this is going to be a different kind of video. As you can see, the title says the scariest paranormal experience that I've had. I've been really into paranormal for a while now, ghost hunting, sort of the unexplained, supernatural, whatever you want to call it. And I think it has to start somewhere. And for me, I was a very serious skeptic for a long time. I quite frankly didn't believe in anything, and why should you? I believe in science and being scientific about everything in trying to work out what it is. And so that's why there was no explanation for me personally for what I saw, and that is what got me interested in the paranormal. When this happened, when I had this experience, I must have been 15, 16 maybe, and I was still living in the UK at that time, and I lived with my parents, and we lived in a house called the Ford Manor in Chobham, and it's just an incredibly haunted house. It's at least meant to be haunted. There are books written about it. Coleridge lived there for a long time. William Blake visited the house. All sorts of things like that. So it already had this history. There was stories written about ghosts in the house, like there was meant to be a nun buried in the wall. The house was built in the 1400s. I know over here in America a lot of houses are much newer, so everything that's old is sort of Victorian, whereas in UK, 1400s is is a lot older. So yes, I grew up in this house, and from an infant, and nothing happened while I was a kid. I never saw anything, I never heard anything. For 15, 16 years, nothing happened, right? And one night this changed, and I was alone in the house, and I'd gotten back from school. No one else was there. My parents were out, my brother was out, and I was upstairs in the bedroom, and I was on the telephone, like I was on the phone talking to my friend from school, my friend Lydia, and we were just discussing things, that happened during the day, gossiping, like girls do. And I heard this noise, and it was in the bedroom. And the bedroom was huge, like I can't quite explain. Like you can see the size of this bedroom, it's like 3 of these sort of rooms combined in a row. And I looked up from the bed where I was sitting on my parents' bed, and in the corner of the room, first of all, let me recap a bit here, because it's so funny trying to tell this from memory. It's really difficult, but I want to do it accurately. So first of all, I heard this noise, and it sounded like 2 pipes, really heavy pipes, kind of being hit together, like a clang, really loud. It's kind of where like you shake a bit because it vibrates. And so I looked up, and I was just like, what the hell is that noise? And it could be easily pipes in the wall, right? It's an old house, that's not unusual, but it was so loud. My first thought was, oh god, maybe someone's trying to break in or rob the house or something, And so I looked in the corner of the room, and there were 2 doors in this room. There was one door sort of over that way and one door over that way. And over by the door on the left-hand side at the back of the room, I saw, and I swear to God, I'm not lying, I saw a person, kind of like a figure, right? But the thing that was so confusing about it was that it was half a person, and that's the only way I can describe it. Half a person going through the wall, just kind of moving along like this, not walking, and the feet weren't on the level of the ground. Their feet were below the ground, cut off by the floor, and their body was halfway through the wall. And it freaked the shit out of me, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to swear, but I fucking freaked out. I looked over there, and it was in my mind it was very clear that what I was looking at was obviously a monk, and the house used to be on the site of a monastery, because, as I say, they were wearing this robe. It was cut off at ground level, and where their eyes should have been were black, black mass, like just not eyes. Like, I mean, they obviously, it was obviously eyes. I don't know how to explain it. There was just kind of black sockets where the eyes should have been. And yeah, other than that, if they hadn't been halfway through the wall, I would have thought it was a real person. But I knew, when I saw it, I knew right away what it was. The hairs on the back of my neck stuff, like even talking about it now kind of freaks me out. And I just dropped the phone, because I was on, as I said, I was on the phone to my friend, dropped the phone, and in the direction it was going, so I said there's one door here and there's one door here, it was going like the only door out for me was over here, and so as it's going along I run like this, you know, out the door, down the stairs, out the front of the house, and I basically locked myself out of the bloody house and sat on the front steps until my parents came home, and I was just crying. I mean, you know, practically to one, always pissing my pants, no jokes, just crying my eyes out. My parents come home, and all I can say is, there's someone in the bedroom, there's someone in the bedroom. And so my poor dad, thinking obviously that there's a robber in the bedroom, like a burglar, he goes in, grabs, you know, his gun and goes upstairs, and of course there's no one there, there's nothing there. And so, you know, my parents think I've gone crazy. I half thought I'd gone crazy. And I didn't go in that room for about a year after that. I wouldn't go in the room because it frightened me so much. So yeah, that's the only time that I've ever actually seen a real ghost, an apparition of a person. And as I say, have to this day no explanation for it as to what it was. I just know that I saw it. It wasn't a hallucination. I wasn't sleeping. I was wide awake. It was early in the evening, and I was coherent. As I said, I was on the phone to my friend. There was no one else in the house, and so I have no explanation for that. I also have no explanation to why it was like halfway through the wall. I think maybe when the house was a monastery, perhaps the walls, it was all built differently and the floor was on a different level, so maybe if it was like a recording of something that happened, that was when it was all different. Fuck if I know. But yes, as I say, that was my scariest paranormal experience and my only ever full apparition, the only time I've ever seen a ghost, and I doubt actually that I'll ever see one again. And now, especially when it's summer, it's nice and warm outside. Like if you're in America, if you're in the West over here, you know, there are these amazing abandoned ghost towns, and it's a lot of fun to go and explore them. And so I constantly am just wanting to go to get friends together and go ghost hunting, but I know it's kind of pointless in a way because I just have this feeling that I'll never see anything like that again. So yes, that's my story. Enjoy.